So today we hear this beautiful account where Jesus' feet are anointed by Mary, who is the sister of Lazarus. And immediately afterwards, we just heard she's ridiculed by Judas for doing that. You should have given that money to the poor. Obviously, Judas had other motives, but I actually just want to speak today about a temptation that I think religious people, myself included, can fall into and experience. And that temptation, I think, is to try to brand our Christian faith in a certain way, which I don't think does anyone favors. Not to get too intense with you, but the definition of heresy. Heresy, it comes from the Greek word heresis, which means to choose. And so heresy, I know that's like an intense word, and you think of people yelling that, and I wouldn't advise going and tell your closest friend that they're a heretic, but the word heresy involves picking and choosing certain aspects of the truth while rejecting or underemphasizing others. And so you can kind of hear that resorts in sort of a distorted dogma, right? Like, okay, you can pick this or this. It's like, no. You're setting up a false dichotomy. That's going to lead to trouble, theologically speaking. And so a couple of examples from back in the day. A common heresy or choice people would fall into, feeling like they needed to choose, was, who is Jesus? Some people would say, Jesus. Well, he's God, for sure. He's God. I mean, he did all these miracles, but he wasn't actually a human being. He wasn't actually a man. He might have appeared that way, but he wasn't actually one of us. He would never go that low to become one of us. Problematic. Or others would say, Jesus, he's a great teacher, he's a great prophet, but he was a man just like any of us. He wasn't God. Problematic. Okay, if he's not God, he can't save us. And so, once again, you're going to hear me say this 100 times. It's not either or, it's both and. He's God, he's fully God, and he's fully man. To try to take one of those sides, it's like, what? Why are you pinning those things against each other? Okay, or another one. Another controversy that comes up is, who do people say that we as human beings are, as we're created in the image and likeness of God? Some people would say that, well, only what I can see, my hair, my eyes, my ears, all of that, my body, is the stuff that matters. If you can't see it, it doesn't exist. That's problematic. Or they would say, you know what? The body is bad. The physical stuff is bad. Only the invisible stuff matters. And I'm just a soul that's trapped in my body. And when I die, you're going to finally let it out. Let it out of the cage. That's problematic. God himself took a body. That's problematic. And so again, we don't say either or, we say both and. We say that we are embodied spirits. We have bodies and souls, both of which have dignity, and both of which are part of what makes us in the image and likeness of God. Now today, in a similar vein, we have the same, a common trap that people can fall into. And it's this idea of pinning right worship and love of God against or in opposition to love of neighbor and service of the poor. Now, it sounds silly to say that, but I mean, even I fall into that mindset sometimes. Like, here we have Judas. He is berating Mary for taking this expensive oil and anointing Jesus' feet. What does that represent? She's showing God love, Jesus love, right worship. And what does he say? Why was this oil not sold? That should have been given to the poor. Okay? And then on the flip side, we hear all over in the Gospels from the scribes and Pharisees who externally they have it all right. When it comes to the rituals and they pay tithes and mill and dill and mint and cumin, and externally they have right worship down. But they've neglected the other important aspects of the law: justice, mercy, faithfulness, caring for those around you. Okay, I just need to say this definitively. These two things are not opposed. The love of God and the love of neighbor are not pinned against each other. Practically speaking, what does that mean? Eucharistic adoration and feed my starving children are not opposed. Having reverence and beauty in the liturgy, that is not at odds with standing up for the most vulnerable among us. And being intentional about what we do at Mass Every little thing means something, and it's an act of love. Being intentional about that is actually not taking away from what we should be doing in the world. It should propel us into the world. And so it's not either or. It's both and. We should be simultaneously active in our community, and we should be engaged in right worship and contemplative prayer. That's our, and if, not to be a shameless plug here, but St. John Newman's new mission statement, walking together in love of God and of neighbor. They're not opposed. Jesus says both of these things. What you did to the least of my brethren, you did it to me. Okay, there is a call to be outward focused and active. And at the same time, what does he say? Be still and know that I am God. Sunday worship, what we're doing here, fills up the gas tank and propels us for the rest of the week. As Jesus says, you should have practiced these things without neglecting the others. Now, just to conclude here, did you know that Pope Leo actually named this year the year of St. Francis of Assisi? That's so beautiful. I love St. Francis. Some of you have been to that city before. Others, I'm sure, will be going soon, pilgrimage with the parish. But Assisi is one of the most peaceful places on earth. I mean, you can feel it when you go. And the reason why we're celebrating that this year is because this is the 800th year anniversary of St. Francis's death. And what was he given the command from God? The crucifix literally spoke to him and said, Francis, rebuild my church. Meaning, both church, right worship, love of God, and also church, the love of neighbor, charitable work, serving the poor. I mean, Francis, there was nobody better at serving the poor than Francis. I mean, he dressed like a beggar. He gave away just about everything he owned. He is notorious for that. And it's still impacting us today. What people also might not realize is that Francis was very devoted to right worship. He was very key. If you read his writings, he had very, very direct statements about the need for right worship, beauty in the liturgy. Why? Because they're not opposed. We're not pinning those things against each other. And so, long story short, we're both and people. We're both and people. We don't need to create unnecessary divisions, pin things against each other. Sometimes I think as a priest, people will ask, well, where do you stand on the either or? And I just smile and I'm like, I love Jesus. I love Jesus. Because to neglect one of those things is to neglect his heart. We are both and people. And that's what we need to take away. And this week, let's ask God to purify our heart this Holy Week, to make us truly both and people and to take him at his word. You should have practiced these things without neglecting the others.